with a rich mind, strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom with a rich mind. Strength, courage, and wisdom with a rich mind. Strength, courage, and wisdom with a rich mind.
Hey y'all, it's your boy Rick McLaren, as you know it. Strength, Courage, and Wisdom. Every Wednesday, we are producing this show. We are on Facebook Live. We are on Mix Station Radio, Mix Station Live app, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, all under Mix Station Radio. Listen, guys, before we're just Facebook Live, but you heard all the other stations that we're on. We need you all to tune in. Thank you. Strength, Courage, and Wisdom, y'all. You know it, every Wednesday at 10 o'clock, I come to you live and in color. Listen, man, we're really excited about today. Please share this video, tag somebody, talk to somebody, call your grandmom, them, your cousins, your nephew. I don't care who it is, and tell them to join the show today. It's important that we do that. Hey, listen, today I got a great show, man, but you guys always know it ain't a show without some sponsors. So I'm going to share with you my sponsors now. Au Pair Law, my main man, Clay, man. Listen, you guys have any legal issues, go see Clay at Au Pair Law. Hey, listen, MGM Haberdashery. If you need a suit, you need some jewelry, men's jewelry, women's jewelry, you need a hat, please go see Marcus at MGM Haberdashery. Cashland Apparel. If you need that hip-hop gear, you need some sweatsuits, you need a good hoodie, go see my man John at Cashland Apparel. Cigar Diva, everybody like a good smoke these days. Gotta have it, gotta have it. Sterling and Associates, man, you gotta go see my man for home improvement. Prominent home inspection. If you got a new home, new commercial property, you need to inspect it, go see my man Chris. I Am Empowered. If you need to write a book in a week, in 2 weeks, in a day, give her a call, give Iana a call. Food for Thought, caterer, my man Damon Hughes. Go holler at Damon right now. Lisa's Luxury Consignment Shop. That's my girl. Listen, if you got some clothes too small, too big, they're designers, they're not worn too frequently, please take them to her. She'll sell them for you. Electric Butterfly, if you need anything healthcare-wise, shea butter, sea moss, all that kind of stuff, she'll help you out with that. Delilah Fragrances. Listen, I wear it almost every day. It's a great fragrance for men and for women. And, of course, the music is by my main man, my Apple Scrapple, Marcus Bevins. You got to support Marcus Bevins. But last but not least, oh, my Lord, I can't forget this. I don't know why I had this on here. My new sponsor. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Woo, just got a brain freeze there. But Ballet. Jesus, Lord. Ballet, she knows what it is. And I'll do it later because I'll be looking her up as I finish stuff. Brand new sponsor, just came on. I don't know why I don't have it on my sheet, but we're going to work through it. But listen, we are in the month of May. During the month of March, we did everything around motivation, inspiration, and just get people to move. I felt as though that this was the month that we're going to get freed up a little bit. We're getting out of the vaccine stage. We're getting into the vaccine stage. We're getting out of the COVID as a little bit, getting out and about in the community, being able to go to the office a little bit more now. And I felt like people were still in a rut, they're still in the funk of being in the house and being locked down for a good year or so. And I felt though the month of March, we needed to motivate people. And once again, as I always say on this show, this show is more for me than anybody else because I got stuck in a little way of doing things and had to get back to my little bit of a normalcy. And it has blessed my heart the month of March, listening to my guests, male and female, that helped me even. I think other people are dealing with it as well, but don't have the venue or the capacity to get it done or get an inspiration from someone else. I want to say, hey, happy Mother's Day to my mom, Billy Marie McLaren. I got to say it. Happy Mother's Day to your mom, and then happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I want to say happy Mother's Day to you. But more importantly, today, guys, oh Lord, let me get this. I gotta put some negative out there. You guys know I tell the truth all the time. But my man Phil Allen lost his wife this past Thursday. Lost her to COVID-19, Twyla. I am so hurt behind this. I went and saw my man, and he's really struggling. They got married 2 years ago. Phil Allen is a Sigma. He's a good guy. He's a banker, investor. And I'm just so sorry. And I want to pray for that family and ask you guys to pray for them as well. So, as you guys know it already, man, I always bring on guests, man. I bring on folks that inspire me, people that I can every now and then get to chat to or listen to on YouTube. And I bring quality people. And this young lady, man, I see her on, not Twitter. Help me out, Twyla.
Oh, you've seen me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, there it is. LinkedIn, all the above. I see her on LinkedIn quite a bit, and she caught my eye, and I said, you know what? I need to have this young lady on the show. So April is going to be a month always around motivation and inspiration. My show is about that. But this was going to focus a little bit more on business, about lessons going into business and dealing with business. And today's subject is going to be around a female in business that's been very successful and some of the hurdles she went through to become a business and an entrepreneur. But on top of that, this young lady is a community activist, and she's an author as well. And we're going to talk about her book and what inspired her with her book as well. So guys, if you can, give a welcome for Twyla.
You got it, Twyla.
Twyla Garrett. I'm sorry, I'm messing up.
No worries.
Twyla Garrett. And Garrett, how are you? Good morning to you. How are you?
I am blessed and highly favored and great to be here today. And thank you. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for having this platform. It is meaningful that we have strength, encouragement, and wisdom every single day throughout our lives. So thank you for putting this platform together.
So Twyla, I got to ask you, I always hear the first question right up. Tell us about Twyla Garrett right quick. Tell us so my audience can get an understand so they can stay focused and tune in. Hi, Lisa. Hi,
okay.
Mom. Hi, Fatima. All right.
I'm going to start it at the beginning. So I'm born and raised in Cleveland. Go Browns, go Cavs. I'm down with LeBron. So, but I'm born in poverty. I mean, I was in the hood, in the streets. I went from being a kid to about 14 years old with a mother that was in mental illness and was abusive. And so as a result, I ended up going to my dad, taken away from my mom. And one of the things my mom told me in the courthouse was that I would never amount to S. So you can put the S and put the blank and fill that in. And that I wouldn't be anything but barefoot, pregnant, and on welfare. So that words of motivation spawned me to be who I am today. I got taken away. I was given with my dad. My dad taught me Jesus. Thank you, Lord. He put God in my life. That's the only thing he required is that I got up and went to church on Sundays. And when I did do that, I ended up being blessed. And back in juvenile home, I still did a little bit of stuff, run away, wanted to still go back to the abusive mom. So I ran away. And I remember the judge there told me that you either going to stay there or you're going to be aged out in the system in the courthouse. So I stayed with my dad, graduated, went to Ursuline College, got my degree, went on and got my master's, went on and got some other stuff. At 28, I opened up a business that within 6 months went to $1 million in revenue. Grew that business to a lot of successful money and was able to get out of that business in 16. In 15 and 16, I was blessed to open up another firm, took that into millions of dollars as well. Opened up nightclubs, restaurants that all went into 7 figures or more in business. So I have been blessed. And it's been a great journey. I wouldn't change anything, even the words of my mom. She passed away in 2012. So God rest her soul. Happy Mother's Day to you. I'm glad because at the end of the day, even though my mom's words seemed to be so negative and hurtful, it was the best motivator I ever had. So I wrote a book. I went and wrote a book, got published, and that book is My Mother's Words, How the Most Negative Influence is My Most Positive Motivator. And I talk to a lot of people. I go around and I speak to a lot of youth, a lot of men, a lot of women to tell them that your situation is only what you make it. It's in your mind and it's how you change it. And you got to do the work because you can't blame anybody else. I don't blame white man. I don't blame the system. I've never blamed any of it. What I did is trying to come up with a plan to conquer it because the system going to be there. And so you got to figure out how you're going to maneuver in it in order to make the best. And so I've been able to maneuver. Now I'm able to give back in ways that nobody could tell me what I could do now with my own money because I'm the director of my own finances. So it makes that difference. My construction firm has 79% ex-offenders in it. And literally, we got murderers, we got drug dealers, but they all are on the streets doing great work. We build from ground up. We just finished the dorms of Duke a couple years ago, which was amazing to me. The first time I've ever walked on Duke's campus, and to be a part of a almost $250 million project was amazing. So Chapel Hill, we build houses from the ground up. We got some houses going in the community in Columbus, Ohio, I own. We're going to be giving those away to individuals as first-time buyers. We got some apartments that we're putting up in the Cleveland Clinic area. Hopefully we're going to be attracting some of the doctors that need to live around that area so they can help this virus and pandemic and get people back into health and wealth. So that's my promise. That's my blessing. I'm blessed to have my father. He's 89 years old, still in Cleveland, still walking around. God bless him. And just some wonderful people in my life that has crossed my path. So that's me.
So guys, you heard she said a mouthful, and we're going to break it down for you guys. But she's been in business, several years now. She owns a construction firm. She owns another firm. She's doing a lot of community activists, and we're going to break this down because I think it's important to understand that if you're struggling now, doesn't mean you're going to struggle tomorrow. You got to work your way through your process, and I think I want to learn from her too as well, because as you can see, she has some major obstacles in life. I want to know some of the dynamics around how you got through. How did you get through? I think you shared with us your church environment, which is great, and talk a little bit about that. And then the fatherhood, the father doing some things for you, then your own self-determination of how to get out where you were at. Talk to us about it.
The biggest blessing, Richard, that I had was being bused as a very young kid. So when you grew up in the inner city of Cleveland, we saw more concrete villages. We didn't see no houses with garages and all the little play stuff. Being bused put us on a bus to the white neighborhood where their environment looked totally different than what we grew up in. Mm-hmm. So I used to sit and I do to this day, I always pick the window seat. And the window seat gave me a view to something else that I aspired to be. And so even to this day, when I get on a plane, I'm always on a window seat. And people go, why? I said, because everybody focuses so many times on the negative and in the back and what somebody did to you and how they got over and I've been raped by people, my mother's boyfriend. Here's the thing. If I ponder on that crap behind me, that rear view mirror is so small in your car. That's why your windshield is so damn big. You got to look forward. And so I always look forward. And, my thing was one day I'm going to have a house like that. I'm going to have me a garage. I'm going to have me a car, even though my mom had a car and we were breaking down every time. But I kept saying, I'm going to get me a job. I don't want to be out dating drug dealers and in the system. I saw people shot. I'm in the streets. That's what you see. But I wanted better than that. And so I had to want that. My mother and my father, if you talk to my dad today, he'll say, I don't know where she got this from. He'll still say, I don't know where she got this from. It wasn't for me. I just took her to church. And I acted a fool in church some of the time too. So, it was one of those things where I think you have to know you want and deserve better. And then you got to put yourself in that environment. And here's the biggest thing. You got to shed some people in your life. It's called shedding. And if you think that the people, when I go back to Cleveland, and this is some of the sadness that I have going home sometimes, I see some of the same people in the same house. I'm 20. I'm 50. Okay. I left Cleveland at 22, 23. I see people in the same environment I left them almost 30 years ago, 27 years ago. They still doing the same craziness that they did. You got to want more. Even if it seems unattainable. When I started business, I never forget people. My father was the biggest naysayer. He said, girl, you got a government job. What are you doing leaving the government? You already a GS 1213. Do you know how great that is? I said, Dad, I live in San Diego. I'm broke. I said, $70,000 ain't doing a damn thing here in San Diego. I'm broke as hell. He's like, no, but what you think? So I went and got a master's. The Navy told me, literally, DOD's like, staying in line because you got to wait till all these other people get promoted before you can get that 13, 14, 15. Okay. Did officer programs, did the SCS potential program, did all that stuff. But here's the thing. It was a waiting game. Twyla didn't have that type of patience. I'm like, wait a minute. I got this debt. I got $50,000 on a master's. I got to get my butt out here and make some more money. I'm living in a city where the bread and milk, I left 99 cents in Cleveland. That stuff was $2.30 when I went there in 93. The gas was $2.30. We bitching now. I'm like, man, we was living that 20 years ago. So I had to do other things. And I started a small business in Cleveland. I did lie, I ain't gonna lie to you. I went to H&R Block tax school. I told them I was 18, I was 16. I went in there, got tax certified, and was running taxes. So I did books and accounting. I'm an accountant now. I went to school for accounting. So I actually started making money. And then I said, hey, I'm gonna go after school and work at Xerox. So I worked at Xerox in Cleveland, got a work ethic behind me, worked after school, made sure I started looking at people emulating those folks. You know, my dad was a postman. He worked at night. So imagine being a 14, 15-year-old kid at home at night. My dad worked from 7 at night to 7 in the morning. I stayed at home. So you gotta want more out of what you gotta get. And you gotta put the work in. Here's the thing. Nobody's giving you no grant to start no business. Ain't nobody gonna give you no free money to get stuff started. I done heard so many different lame excuses about why I can't. You know, I didn't get a loan to start my business for 7 years. They denied me 7 years straight. You know what I did? I took my money that I made every year, paid myself my minimum salary that I used to make, and saved every penny. Until I got money saved up to hire people, I just kept making everybody 1099s and hoped that they would back me and believe in working with me until I could pay them as a W-2. 4 years later, I converted every one of those 1099s to a W-2. I didn't look for no loan. I went out for a loan. They denied me. Most people would have shut their door and said, the heck with this. I never forget when the lady was like, man, we don't even know what you do. You got this top secret thing. We don't have a clue. The bank, every big bank. Now, fast forward, we won millions of dollars. Every bank was knocking on my door trying to get my business. I said, the hell with all y'all. I went to a whole nother brokerage. And they was like, what? I didn't even go to a bank. I went to a brokerage firm. So you can control your destiny once you start doing what you need to do. And that's putting yourself in the driver's seat. Don't look for no handout, because when they get a handout, something's coming with it. And that's the thing. And I tell so many people, Twyla, how we get these government grants? Government grants ain't gonna teach you how to run a business. Government grants ain't gonna get you common sense in business. Business is a risk. Okay, that's why there's great employees and there's great business owners. Business is a risk. Everything that I got 60 employees under me right now. If they go out here and do something crazy, guess who they gonna come and arrest? Me. Yeah, period. That's the risk you take. And so I got a bunch of ex-offenders that I'm praying every night that they do what they're supposed to do, at least on the work time. And so far, they do.
So tell me how that come about, the ex-offender program, because I'm very familiar with the ex-offender program here in Baltimore. It seems like you're having some success. So tell us a little bit about you hiring ex-offenders.
We've always, even my securities group, Homeland Securities firm, I always believed in giving back. So we used to teach financial literacy to anyone in the inner city of DC. We taught that program for almost 4.5 years. But the ex-offenders is key to me because guess what? I grew up with all ex-offenders. I mean, your family is ex-offenders. When you're in the hood, somebody done went to jail, right? Somebody done been in jail, somebody in jail. And what I noticed in Cleveland, nobody would give them anything other than a minimum wage job. Right. And if they got that, you know damn well that drug dealing is going to go be right in their forefront, because they know they could go get more money by doing one day than doing a week. So we got to get in the mindset of giving people second chances. Half the people, well, at least the majority of the people of the Black men and women that's in jail for marijuana shouldn't be there now anyway. Now they legalizing everything. So those individuals that were selling and things of that nature, they probably got kids. We got 60 employees, probably 120 child support orders for 60 employees. Yeah. Oh, yeah, probably more. Wow. And here's the thing. If you don't give these people something to work for, what else they going to do?
Wow.
You know, you give these people a pass out the door with a bus ticket and say, get on it and go. And where they going to go? By within 2 weeks, everybody looking at them to say, hey, man, you know, you used to do this. And then their homeboys that used to be dealers with them is in their face saying, hey, dog, I know you want some cash. Let me have you run this for me. So we definitely employ that. We try to get them into the general trade section first. Then we want to move them up. We get them operator licenses, equipment operators. You got an equipment operation license, you can make up to $20 an hour. That's $40,000 a year. We pay medical, vision, and dental, 50% of that for them. So we get them something that they can start working towards something different. We've been blessed to have a couple that actually got into our foreman's program. So they're running programs now. They're running projects. Good. And as we start moving and growing, we're going to be moving them into that. You know, you got to want it. And here's the thing. And I think one of the biggest problems we got now, safety is a key. You can't do construction without safety. Marijuana has created a problem in the construction industry. Okay. All right. I can't have you on 3 lifts or 3-story lifts and towers and your ass is tweaked. I can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. So you got to actually have some common sense about what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Because we drug test. We got to. I mean, this is safety, you know, so you can't have you on a piece of equipment that you can run over and kill somebody when you got a little buzz, you know. And so I think that is probably the biggest issue that we got in the Black community is this weed problem. And this weed problem is going to take a lot of people out because you can't show up. I've had people show up to interviews and I can smell them around the corner.
Wow. What do you say? I think we talked a little bit about this when we talked last week. What do you say to the people going through, you know, what we've been through the last a year and a couple of months with the COVID, with racial unrest, with the, you know, economy, you know, falling jobs, people losing their homes, and even
it's a mess.
Even the mental drain is. What do you say?
Well, you know what? The one blessing, and I say this, and I say it lightly because I don't. Out of the 500 plus 100,000 of people that have died under this, I am so saddened to say this, but here's the thing. For me, I have to focus on what did COVID really do for me? What COVID did is slowed my life down enough for me to understand what's really important. If you didn't take these last 12 to 14 months and realize what is really important, then you missed the whole gamut of this. We did lose people. I lost people that were dear to me as well. But what I did gain is some peace and clarity of what's important and what needs to be shedded and what needs to be taken away in order to make your life more simple, but more fulfilling and more gratifying. You got to be thankful for the fact that there is certain things around you. I know people say, well, I'm lonely. Well, you're lonely because you have to love yourself. And that's what COVID did for me. It got me into a point where I was able to kind of reconnect with me and figure out what's important to me. What's my next journey? You know, and I've always done this, and Ursuline College taught me this. They told me to make a plan. Not that the plan is set, but it's evolving. And you got to have something that you're shooting for. When I came out of college, you know what my plan was? To get a job and to get on my own and have an apartment. But in that plan, I actually wrote a plan for 14 to 20 years. And then it said at certain points, I want to have a master's. At certain point, I want to look for a PhD. At certain points, I want to, and then I said, I'm going to have my first house by XYZ. I beat that plan by 5 years. I said, I want to have it by 28. Well, I got my first house at 24. And so it was one of those things where everybody has to have something that they're shooting for. And I look back at my plan and I used to say at 45, I'm going to retire. Well, at 45 and a half, I sold a business and retired. And then at 50, I said my assets, because I'm a single woman, and part of being single is I don't have 401ks. I'm a business owner. We don't have those things when you're a business owner. So I start to accumulate, assets. So my plan was, okay, now I got to have a strategy of how to get and minimize these assets to now get my strategy for retirement ready. And I'm doing that now. And I said, I'm going to execute that plan starting at 50. What happened 2 months ago? I started executing that plan. You have to have a plan in place, and also plan for if you're not here either. That's one of the things that we don't do. I have things in place that if God forbid and it's my time, my family is going to be taken care of. They might be fighting, but the damn instructions are clear as hell, what you getting and what you not getting. So at the end of the day, you can fight till the cows come home. It is done and it is written. So you got to have these plans, and that's the piece that it brings you. So COVID for me, let me reconnect back into my plan. Now write my next 20 years out to 70 and see where I want to be. but it also got me thankful and appreciative of what we do have. Look around you guys. You woke up this morning. It's a lot of people that didn't. It's a lot of people that do not have it. They're struggling. And here's the thing. One of the things it did, it normalized everybody to the same level. Rich couldn't go nowhere. Poor couldn't go nowhere. Rich thought they were poor. Poor said, well, shit, I'm cool. I can just stay at the house. I ain't got to do nothing. I mean, and in a way, some of the poor became rich because they got benefits that wasn't even expected to get. I got employees that came to me and was like, Twyla, it's cheaper for me. I mean, I can make more money if I go on unemployment. So I'm going to see you in about 6 months. They made $40,000 sitting at home with their kids and their unemployment. But I called them and said, look, do something positive with that money. Don't come up here with some rims and a new ride. Come up here with something. Put yourself through trucking school. Let me put you in a truck so you can make some money. 3 of them listen. So here's the thing, it was one of those things where you saw the actual rich folks going crazy. Then the black folks, we know how to be poor. We know how to sit at home. We know how to do nothing. We know how to have nothing. It's the white rich folks got crazy, right? They were stir crazy because they couldn't go to these events. They couldn't get pretty. There wasn't nowhere to go. And we used to that. We definitely should. So you could have connected really into that family union. And it was so grateful that I saw so many fathers and dads reconnect with the family. I looked on Instagram and saw so many dads, braiding their daughters' hair and becoming dad moms, the dad girls, the girl dads. And they wasn't doing that before because they were home. They were working, right? The mom or the grandma was doing that. And to see those dads connect with those girls, that means the world to them. I know my dad is 89, and it means the world to me when I go and see him. And it was a year. I saw him for the first time on March 4th, which is his birthday. I actually drove into Cleveland, masked up, rented a room in a restaurant, and just him and I ate for the first time after a year and 2 months. Wow. I wasn't going to let him turn 89 without seeing him. But we had a ball. And the only thing my dad asked, he hadn't been out the house in a year. He said, can we just drive around the city and see some sights? See, simple things. You don't need a lot. Yeah. You don't need a lot. All the stuff. I got so many daggone clothes I'm about to give away at a charity. You don't need all this stuff. Where the hell even when you were going, you didn't need all the stuff. So just refocus that mind. But the biggest thing you can do is meditate. Meditate on some blessings and some possible things. When I wake up every morning, I say, thank you, God. Thank you for waking me up, opening my eyes, and giving me some clarity. And thank you already in advance for helping me dealing with craziness that's coming ahead of me for the rest of the day. So you got to put yourself in that mind space. And I think that's where a lot of people fail to do.
Listen, guys, I'm telling you all, tell your friends to tune in. This young lady has a story to tell. Not only that, she's speaking some real truths. And I knew you were going to say that about COVID, and I say the same thing, that during that time, if you didn't grow, if you didn't learn, I'm really concerned. And then I like the fact that a lot of families, for the first time in a long time, when we were kids, we used to have family dinner, and because of soccer moms and AAU basketball and people working different shifts, going in and out of the house, that unit had to come together now and sit down. Some people didn't like the person didn't know the person across, didn't know their kids. But now
some of them left them. Yeah, some of them said, I'm out. I'm going to get me another relationship. Yeah. That might have been the biggest thing that could have blessed you to get that strength to say, what, enough is enough. Let's cut this cord. Let's make it this, because you don't have time to waste.
Absolutely. You're a boss lady, and this is for the ladies out there. And listen, and Lisa just texted me and said she owns a consignment shop, so please give some to the consignment shop.
Okay, I sure will.
So, you're a boss lady. You've been through a lot. You've been through ups and downs. You had 3 different firms at one time. Now you're down to 2 firms, and you're writing all these plans. What is for the ladies out there, the boss ladies are trying to be a boss lady, trying to be in charge? What is the biggest lesson you've learned as a lady in business?
Well, it can be a good thing and a bad thing. So I'm in an industry that's male dominated, was also in an industry that was male dominated before when I had my bigger firm with 100 plus employees. So you got to know your subject. Here's the thing. Credibility is all about knowledge. And you can't go into any business unless you got some knowledge. All right. So ladies, if you're going to go into something, I don't make a business a hobby. Okay. And I don't turn a hobby into a business unless I'm an expert in it. Okay. So, a lot of times I get on stage and people are like, oh, I do this and I do it. And I say, okay, that's a hobby. You might be making a little money, but that's a hobby. Business comes when all the risks around it comes, which means workers' comp, unemployment, payroll. You got it all. You got the infrastructure. Remember, I got 60 employees, and guess who they call them when they need, oh, my child is hurt or I need extra money. Can you loan me this? I can't pay my payroll. I can't pay my rent. I mean, you become the psychotherapist, the lawyer, the doctor. You're everything to these people because they lean on you. And especially when you're a woman, because they figure that you're that nurturing spirit anyway, so you can. So you got to have a tough shell. Sometimes that tough shell doesn't translate a lot over into personal, because it's hard to take that hat off as boss lady and be a wife or a mom or a loving spouse sometimes to your mate. And I found that. I've had some relationships that I sabotaged because I couldn't move that hat off. So I think the best thing that you can do when you want to be a serious boss lady, learn what you know and know it as an expert. Be a master of your craft. People ask me, well, Twyla, who holds the license for your general contracting? I do. Did I go to school for it? Damn sure did. I went and put myself back to school. I got 29 books. I sat and studied for a year and then went and passed the national exam. So you got to know your subject. Okay, don't come in it. So it's so funny because I can go to a site and everybody dismisses me. They don't even know who I am until somebody said, that's the owner. And they go, what? And they'll freak out. I done had all kind of cat calls and woo-woo and all this other crazy. And now these are my employees or some business people. All these cat calls and craziness until they recognize, she holds the license. And then I come over there and start critiquing your work and be like, no, we're 3 centimeters off here. We pour here, break this up. They're like, whoa. Yeah, don't get it twisted, bro. So don't get it twisted. So it's a funny thing when I love being in the room. I used to be in the room. I'd been in the White House, done stuff from the government level. I would sit in the room and I never forget. I was the keynote speaker at a conference and I came early to, get myself set up. And the lady walked in and was like, hey, move the chairs, do this, get it ready. Cause we got the, speaker coming in and we got to get ready for this. We're expecting 400 people. I'm like, okay. I got up and just started cleaning. It was so funny. She says, so when you're finished, you need to leave. We don't want anybody else in. I said, yeah, I'm going to go get dressed because I'm the keynote. And she goes, what? Yeah, I'm Twyla Garrett. And she's like, oh.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold just 1 minute.
It was funny, and it's funny because my COO is Melissa Turner. She was my very first employee. I love Melissa like a daughter. But Melissa is white. Now, let me tell you, before I hired Melissa, I had like 4 African-American sisters, and they were smoking weed and feet on the desk, and I answered the phone. Melissa started as literally opening mail and sorting things for us. Today, Melissa's still with me 19 years later, and she runs one of my other companies. And it was funny, I was a speaker at Babson University, and I got a little sick on the flight, so I was in the bathroom. And Melissa was mingling with the other speakers outside, and they thought Melissa was me. Now, exactly. Now, Melissa and I are 2 different persuasions. So, and they had all of this, and you can see when I walk up, they're saying something to her, trying to get some type of concurrence. And she says, well, you really need to add Twyla Garrett. She's right there. And the faces of these individuals just all hit the floor.
Yeah.
So it is comical sometimes. Own your space, ladies. Enjoy it. Don't get mad. Enjoy it. Believe me, women have a lot of great power. Just got to know how to hone it in and laugh about it. Because at the end of the day, I'm at the table. I'm in the seat and I'm in the game. And as long as you're in the game, once you're at the table, you can control that sucker as long as you want to. So just do what you do and do it well.
I love it. I love that answer. Thank you for that answer. Ladies, did you hear that, man? Your daughters should be listening. Your sisters should be listening, and yourself. I'm hoping you're listening as well. Please tag a friend, man. I have the one and only Garrett, man. She is a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She is a author. She's a community activist, as she said. She's with her ex-offenders. Who does that in this day and time? And I can't name 2 companies I know in Baltimore who do it on a regular. So I'm really proud of you doing that. So listen, I'm going to bring up the subject because,
Okay.
I think it's important. And I think you talk about it a lot. That's why I feel a little comfortable, but I'm uncomfortable. You talk about your mom and you wrote a book. And I'm really curious how you turned that negativity into motivation and how you wrote that book. And then the title of the book is so powerful and how you just came from like the ashes. I don't know. I don't know how anybody can do it. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, I will. I mean, so once we left, and when I was 14, once we left that courthouse steps, my mom pledged that she would never speak to me again and say that I wouldn't amount to S. That was her last words to me. That was literally her last words to me. And so for the first year and a half, I remember I graduated from middle school, and my dad and I went and put a little invitation for her and my sister. So not only did I lose my mom, I lost my baby brother, who was 7 at the time. And then I lost my older sister, who was 22 at the time. And she said some choice words as well. But so I lost that part of my family. And my older brother, Michael, he had already left and ran away. He was like, I'm out of this damn camp. I can't take it no more. So, and I hadn't seen him. So it was one of those things where we tried. My father tried, I tried. And I remember my dad coming home. He said he had a conversation with my mother about seeing my baby brother because I wanted to see my brother. And she said no. And my father looked at me. He said, listen, she pulled out a gun. She told me no. So it ain't happening. You got to just move on. And I was about 15. And once you get 18, then you can try to do what you want to do. So I did that. I would send gifts. They would come back. Some of them would come back as the gift out of it or the money gone, but the gift came back. So that was like, well, that's creative. Your ass opened it up and took the money, but okay, fine. So invited her to my college graduation. Never showed up. My sister showed, which was in the audience, but it was just one of those things where I always wanted to hear about my mom. So fast forward 27 years. So in those 27 years, I always had that mindset play. When I went to college, I never forget, no, that's not fast forward. Let's go to college. I went to college and this is how naive Twyla was. So Twyla went to public school, right? I did decent in public school, but listen, I chose Ursuline College, which was a 5.0 grade scale and a prestigious kind of college. Mm-hmm. And it was Catholic. I ain't never been around no Catholic people. So my father and I go to orientation. I'm looking around. I said, Dad, there's a guy with a skirt on. Well, it's a monk. I was like, oh, I see nuns for the first time. I'm like, well, this don't look right. So my stupid self raised my hand. I'm like, excuse me, when does the boys arrive? This is the girls' orientation. Like, when does the boys arrive? And they looking at me like, what the hell? I never forget. One of the nuns came up and said, this is an all-girls school. It's a Catholic. I'm like, what? Wow. What did I just sign myself up for? So there's like, you'll never make it out of here. I had so many tutors my first year, and all I kept hearing in my mind is, you want them out to this. You want them out to this. Man, when they said, we're going to give you some tutors, they gave me some tutors. I heeded to those tutors. Then they said, we're going to put you on a work study program, because I was still on welfare. I had welfare. And I was walking, taking the bus back into the inner city, taking my little food stamps, selling a little bit off so I can get some cash, and then get my little oodles and noodles and come on back to college, because I couldn't. But my biggest tragedy in college was it was snowing one time, and Ursuline's in a nice, prestigious neighborhood, but they had a grocery store. Unbeknownst to Twyla, everybody don't take welfare. So Twyla goes to the grocery store because it's better than going to about an hour and a half on the bus down. And I get what I know is under WIC, and get in line, go to pay. And the lady looks at me like, what is this? So she gets on this mic and says, I think we have public assistance or some type of welfare certificate on line 3. Can someone come over to help me? The lady comes over. She said, ma'am, we don't take these. And I just walked out crying, walked all the way back to school. And that was a turning point in my life to say, you know what, I'm never going to be in that position ever again. And I never went to that store again. I was so embarrassed and so ashamed that, okay, I could do better than this. So I went and I talked to the nuns and they gave me a work study. They said, we'll put you in study. Well, guess where they made me go? To the mother house and to hold the rosary and the service and all this. I'm like, I didn't even know what half this stuff was. So but it groomed me. And then I took piano. And I never forget, a year later, I invited my dad to my recital and he came, he was like, what recital are you doing? What you doing? And he comes up there and him and my grandmother, they sitting in the audience and I come out. Now I bet my professor, I said, if I learn Beethoven and Bach, you got to learn one song from me because I don't understand Beethoven and Bach. I don't know who the hell they are, but if you want me to play it, fine. But you got to learn one from me. Guess what he learned from me? Luther Vandross, Here and Now. So my recital was Bach and Beethoven, and all of a sudden my professor surprised me and walked out playing the saxophone when I start playing Here and Now by Luther. Wow. And my father lost it. He was like, what the heck? And I was in tears and I was like, he said, you know how to play piano? I said, yeah, but did you hear Luther? I was going crazy. I had such a great time. So this is what I'm talking about, enjoying it. Learn to play tennis. Didn't have a clue about no tennis court. They was like, get around there and run that court. Okay. So now I play tennis. I golf. You got to get yourself out of an environment where you think that's all you can do is sit up in the hood and play some basketball. You know, come on now. I make more deals on a golf course than I ever will anything else. And I was a basketball player in high school. Yeah. So you got to get out of that comfort zone. And fast forward, I get a call from my brother, my estranged brother's wife. She calls me up on a Wednesday and says, I think you should come. You don't know who I am. She called my office and my office assistant gave her my number, my personal number. I'm getting dressed to go into DC. She said, you don't know who I am, but I'm Kevin's wife. I'm like, Kevin who? And she said, your brother. I was like, okay. She said, I'm calling you because your mom is sick. I think you need to come back to Cleveland. Now, my family didn't call me. She called me. Right. So I shows up and the next day, and lo and behold, she is sick, but she's on a respirator. And a couple days later, she passed away. But I was at peace. And I never heard, I love you. I can't even remember those words from my mother at all. At all. My mom, and let me tell you, ladies, one of the worst things you can do is bash the fathers of these kids. Because the only thing I heard from my mother was how no good my father was and how he wasn't this and he wasn't that. Well, it's always two sides of a story and it's always two sides of a relationship. Right. And once I got the other side, I realized both were at fault and both were bad. So at the end of the day, you made me and you got to live with it and love it. And so don't bash these dads because you don't like them or your situation didn't turn out right. You need to turn your situation into right. So I tell my friends that when they start bashing these no good, you lay down with them. That was your choice. Don't blame. Don't mess this kid up because of your messed up choice. So I'm about that. And so I took that negativity and always, and still to this day, my mom's been gone since 2012. Still to this day, I hear you won't amount to anything. You won't be anything, but I don't hear it as a negative. That's my trigger to go. All right, Twyla, fire this shit up and let's go. I'm ready to go. That's my gun to be like, let's go. This is time to get on it. You think we won't build this building? Watch this. My name is on Duke forever. If they tear that building down, that steel beam got Twyla Garrett GMS on it. That's going to live there for 100 years, baby. Tear that sucker down, but my name is on it. Right. And that's what you do. You cement your name in something. Let somebody talk some negative stuff to you. That's why I love playing basketball, because it's trash talk. You get hyped based on people telling you ain't about nothing or that you ain't going to be as good as me. LeBron gets hyped because people tell him, man, he ain't this. You got this. Steph Curry, everybody bring their game because they hear that noise. Amen. Make that noise your fuel. Make that noise your power. Make that noise your gun. Fire that sucker off for you, not for somebody else.
Wow, guys, you heard a mouthful. Twyla, I swear, I didn't know you were this powerful, man. One thing you said that I really preach a lot, and I talk about this about my parents. My mother and father were visionaries. They know we were born in the hood, and they were born in the hood and from this country, North Carolina, in Mount Enterprise, Texas. Came to New York, and we were in the hood, living in a nice house. They were really powerful, but they made a conscious decision to get us out of this environment, still connect to the environment, but get you in another environment so you start learning some other things.
That's right.
It's not all monolithic, it's stereo. It's not
That's right.
It's really loud out here, but you guys only hearing a little bit of music right now, and we need you to widen and broaden your horizon. So I went to school with Chinese, Korean, whites, and all that. And I learned a lot during that process, and still was connected to the city because we had clothing stores in the city, we had business, we had church, everything else was in the city. And it was the best move they could have ever done for all their kids, because all their kids are diverse.
That's right.
That's key.
That's what we're missing.
Yes.
We know nothing. When you're in the hood, you see everybody like you. When I go on vacation, guess where I go? I go to China. I go to Taiwan. I don't need to go to Jamaica. I'm black. I'm already damn black. I need to go see some other people. Okay? I need to go see some folks where I can have some rice and you can teach me some stuff about massage and some herbs and how these people living to be 115 years old. Yeah. I don't need to know why the hell I'm smoking some weed down in Jamaica. I am delivered. Come on. So here's the thing, folks. The best thing you could do, put your money where your mouth is. Get you a passport. Get your butt these shots so you can get on a plane and get the hell out this country. I've been all over the world. And I can tell you right now, unless you experience somebody else's culture, you do not know what you're missing in life.
Absolutely.
All right, you can bitch and moan about a Trump or this or that. But let me tell you, until you go to another country, you don't know what you're missing. You don't know what you're missing. And you can't tell me anything if you ain't even left the city that you were born and raised in. Get up out the city. If the only thing you know is Cleveland, Ohio, my Cleveland folks, get a job in another state. Okay, It's so easy now. You can work from home. Yeah. But get to another environment. You got to know something different. And if all your friends are your persuasion and look like you have done yourself a disjustice. Yes. If everybody looks like you got a problem. If all you eating is some chicken and ribs and some collard greens and all that, you got a problem, because you cannot just stay in your bubble and think that you're going to grow. Your bubble is going to blow and you're going to be a depressed soul at the end of it. That's right. Get out that environment. Learn something new. Challenge yourself.
Amen. Challenge yourself. How I'm curious now, because I don't know this. And once again, guys, she doesn't get any pre-questions before we come on the show. How important has church been in your life?
Church is amazing to me. Let me tell you, right now, I stay busy because of businesswoman. So you don't have that Sunday. My Sunday is a bid day, is a plan reading day. It's always been a work day. But what I got connected with, I love Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen has been a great ministry to me. I still go back to my home church in Cleveland and make sure they're good, and my dad's church. So I do my ministry via the TV, the Definitely Serious radio, but it's always the spiritually fed. When you turn my truck on, you getting Joel coming through it. And I keep that on. And I got people getting in the car like, man, turn this off. I'm like, bro, you need to listen to this morning any daggone body. Come on, talk about it. About 15 minutes in, they like, well, yeah, that is kind of true. I'm like, yeah, that is kind of true. What you want to listen to? Some stuff we can't even understand what they're saying? I mean, come on. So you got to stay connected spiritually. But the one thing you also got to do is meditate. If you have not taken yourself down to elevate all the noise away from you, get everything away from you. At the end of the night, I have gotten a system called Oculus, and that is a virtual reality environment. And I put my virtual glasses on, sit in the middle of my floor on my mat or on my deck, and I have a mental meditation for at least 45 minutes. Whoa. Maybe 10 minutes on the beach, just sit and chill virtually. And then I go into a nice state of just some yoga stretches and some breathing. Because here's the thing, we don't know what our bodies is doing inside, but you got to give them that healthy, growing energy and oxygen to keep going. Okay. So we got to feed our soul. We got to feed it spiritually, and we got to feed it and nurture it on a good way. You know, I grew up on all of this junk, and I've recently started doing a lot more plant-based. And why is that? Because I'm older, you know, and I could tell you 30 days not even 30 days, within 10 days of being on plant-based, not full plant-based, I still eat some meat. My mind was so clear. My energy was triple. I'm telling you, I went to the doctor, had my blood work done. She said, what are you doing? what medicine are you on? I ain't on none. She said, because all your counts have gone down.
Wow.
So here, folks, you know, all that stuff, that fat back, that ham hock, that and I cook it all. You might want to downplay a little bit of that and downscope it a little bit. Do a pegan. Pegan is a protein and vegan kind of plant-based diet mix. You don't get rid of everything, but you only add it in. Like I had lamb last week. I love me some lamb chops. I'll have a steak next month or later this month. You know, you don't have to get rid of everything. But what I also do is I love to cook. If you look at my Instagram, you're going to see me throw down. I throw down. I love to cook. I'm on restaurants. I'm probably going to get me a food truck. That's going to be part of my little hiatus is I'm going to have a food truck that I just kind of do me some rib shacking and some barbecue shacking on the side because that's kind of my little hobby. So, but you got to have some moments.
Didn't you start off with a catering business?
Well, I owned a nightclub in 2020 Martini Cafe and Lounge, a 500-seat nightclub. So when I go big. I started my first restaurant with 500 seats. Angie Stone opened me up. Angie laid us out, and we played it for a year and a half. Then LeBron was like, I'm out. So Twyla said, me too. I'm out too, bro. I ain't staying here. No, so we out too. We know when to come. That's when you have to do. Here's another thing. You asked me about the boss lady. This is for all bosses, men, women. You got to know what's your exit when you got your entry. Because that's where you fail. A lot of times, y'all don't know when to cut this cord, or when it's good, when to sell, or when it's bad, when to exit. Whoa. So a lot of people, you know, Donald Trump filed bankruptcy all this time. You better learn your rules. You better learn your rules of how to play this game. If you don't play your game right, you're going to be a fool that have all this debt, and they're going to be coming after all your stuff. So you got to be able to strategically know how to exit and when you want to exit and how exit on your terms. I'm growing my company right now to sell.
That's right. Absolutely.
To sell. Period. I'm growing it to sell. I'm not staying in this. I'm going to sit on somebody's beach and chill at the end of this. I'm not going to wait to 70. So I'm growing it to sell. And once I grow it to sell, then that's when I'll go to my next step. But you got to know your exit when you're in it so you can position yourself for it.
Absolutely.
Don't just haphazardly just keep on moving thinking everything is good.
Absolutely. Woo, girl, you're saying a mouthful today. Hey, listen, I know my girl Lisa Luxury Sandwich Shop, she's on here, she's hearing this, and she's taking it all in. All the ladies, thank you, Shanda, Ozzy, my mom, oh man, Fatima, oh my goodness, all ladies on here, Martina. Woo,
oh, good.
Hey, everybody, how you guys, Sonia, how you guys doing? Ozzy, love, how you doing, Lovekin? Hey, listen, guys. Every week at 10 o'clock, Strength, Courage, and Wisdom, either myself and the guests, we are trying to spread information, trying to inspire and motivate and keep people moving in a positive direction. We know times is tough. Listen, the young lady has told us already that she's been through things since she was 14 and prior to being 14, but 14 years old, got told something, and she turned it into a book. She turned it into 3 companies. She turned it into her being, I'm going to call it now, a millionaire, multi-millionaire.
Let me correct you. I've been that 12 years ago.
See, multi-millionaire.
Yeah, multi. Yeah. I'm going to and that's the other thing. Don't let somebody else make you discount your blessing.
Wow.
You know, because sometimes I had a guy one of my clients said, you make too much money. Because you drive this type of car, I'm going to cancel your contract. I said, let it be known I had this car before I ever had your contract. So at the end of the day, you didn't make this system. And I'm going to still drive this car, whether you like it or not. So do not discount your blessings because somebody else got some issues with it. If you got haters, that means you're doing right.
That's right.
I love my haters. Hate on me, baby, because that means you doing nothing and I'm doing something and you want to be where I'm at. And if that's the case, then drive this train and make some friendships so we can help you get you there. But don't hate on me and think that I'm going to just say, well, you know what? I'm going to get rid of that because somebody don't like it. Nah. I made millions before I was 30.
So listen, guys, what's so funny about this is I didn't know that. So, and once again, I just didn't know that. But I knew by talking to her that she had definitely financially achieved some goals already, because just by the conversation and her mindset, I knew that had already happened. And she confirmed it for me. And then that's a blessing. See, I'm getting powerful women on here, powerful men on here, but women, I'm focusing on the women because I believe, this is my belief, I'm so sorry for saying this, but I believe it to be a truth, that men wear their pain and their struggle. Women don't wear it well unless they're alone and they're by themselves. But out in public, I can look at a dude and say something up with that cat. But a girl, the woman has the ability to like mask it and keep it moving, grab the kids, carry the kids, grab the groceries.
Yeah, they have to.
They have the ability to suppress it to the point then maybe they explode, maybe they don't explode, but they're just carrying such a burden. And sometimes I think they need to know that you're not in this alone. You're not. It's not only your struggle. You got help out here. Let's get it. Let's get going. We need that motivation, need that inspiration. I always talk directly to guys. I talk to ladies as well. But when I get a lady on here who's been through some trials and tribulations and got some processes of how to get out of trials and tribulations, this is what I like to do. Right here. And you have blessed my audience today. They're all clapping and high five.
I hope so. I don't see y'all claps, but I shout y'all out too. I hope and pray that any of these words, and please, look, I'm here to mentor. Part of my goal is I mentor several women in business. I also mentor people just to get them spiritually fed, because at the end of the day, I know whose I am and who I belong to, right? So I'm comfortable in sharing that journey, sharing my process, sharing how I got to where I'm at. Here's the thing, you got to do the work. This is not going to be easy. You have to do the work, okay? And if you ain't ready to strap them boots up, put that belt on and get ready to go, then you might not want to do this right now. You might want to take another course, but have a course, have something to go to in some direction. Because if you don't, you're going to lose your journey. You don't know when your race and that checkered flag is going to hit. You don't know that. And I run and do this day as if I know today, if my flag goes down, my eulogy is going to be a badass one. I know that. And I know people are going to come to it and say, this girl laid it down. I've done it all that I can do. And I ran a great fight. And now I'm resting in heaven.
Woo! So how can anyone get a hold of you? And give them the information and give them the book, the title, and all that kind of stuff as well.
Absolutely. So mymotherswords.com is where the book is. mymotherswords.com. You can order it there. You can hit me up on Instagram, Twyla Garrett. It's TWYLA GARRETT, Twyla Garrett. You can hit me up on LinkedIn, Instagram. I got a website coming up, TwylaGarrett.com is coming up. So I do mentoring, speaking engagements. Just DM me. I mean, you can, if you hear me, I'm on that other little thing. What is that Facebook, not Facebook. I'm on Facebook too. I don't do a lot of social media in that regard. Now we will be soon, because we're going to start posting a lot of our projects. Okay. So even my Hire GMS, HIREGMS.com, you can go there and send me an email as well. But Hire GMS is my company, and that's where we do all of our building. You're going to start seeing some of our building come up, so you can see some of our projects. They nice. They
What are the two companies you have now?
So I have Growth Management Services, which is GMS. I also own an adjusting firm, which is an insurance adjusting firm called IRG, Integrated Responders Group. And let me tell you about that, guys. If you think right now that you're at a dead ends position and you just don't know where to go, you might want to get an adjusting license, because an adjusting license is when we have catastrophes, or you might just want to be an insurance adjuster at State Farm or Allstate. We license and train you, and we certify you. Once we certify you in one state, we can get you certified in 23. So I have a firm that does that. The course is $600. You should take it. I have people, I can tell you my own personal. I went out last year. I went out for 7 weeks and made $90,000 just running 7 weeks, 70 claims. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. And it went to the firm, but at the end of the day, this is how much you can make if you want to do that type of running. Otherwise, you take your license and go sit at the desk and just do phone adjudication. So make sure you got some type of piece of paper. You can't live this earth and not have some type of training, because you got to have it, guys. You got to have something. You got to be, you definitely got to be competitive. And right now, this is the beautiful thing. A Harvard degree is just like having a Kaplan degree, because at the end of the day, they just need people. And if you can bring a degree, you're going to get in the door too.
Wow.
So you just need, and even if it ain't a degree, a certificate, some type of post-education from high school, you need to have something. If you get a doggone CDL, I can put you in a truck and you can make $60K. in a truck. So you got to have some type of formal training. You can't just come up out of high school and say, thank you, Lordy, and be done. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to work.
Twyla, I'm going to tell you something, guys, and I got to confess, I don't know Twyla. I'm confessing now. I saw her on LinkedIn, and I liked what I saw, and I DM'd her. And I said, I need to have you on my show.
You did.
Here we are today. This is all it takes, man. I'm telling you, this has been a blessing for me, and I hope it's been a blessing for you, because the last couple of nuggets she shared with us about the insurance adjuster, I am telling you something, that was powerful. Because I know a lot of people are looking for second income, looking for one income first.
Oh, yeah. And this is a great shingle to hold up if you retire. Yep. So if you still got this, you can put this shingle up. When I retire and I say I just want to run a couple storms, say there's another earthquake or hurricane that hits Florida, they'll call me up. I'll go make a little run, make my money, and go back to probably the islands, somebody's island, and chill. But here's the thing. It's always a good shingle to have. And it gets you some power. And then if you are young, coming out of HBCUs or schools and can't find jobs, this is a great thing to have, because now on top of your degree, you come in with a license, you can go to Allstate, State Farm, and start in a better position than you had before. So call me up, look at, it's called Integrated Responders Group, or respondersgroup.com. And it's Integrated Responders Group or respondersgroup.com or IRG Adjusters Training. Definitely reach out to me. I'll get you guys trained. I'll do and I can do it virtually too. I can do it virtually because of COVID. So we can do it virtually, have you guys, and we can do a training. It's only 40 hours of training. You sit and we proctor the exam. Once we proctor the exam, you'll know if you passed it within a couple of days, and then we get you through the process. But it is great to have that type of shingle behind you. And then I also have an investment group. So it's got Elite Capital Partners. That's where I do investments. We got some investments. We're going to kick off with women owning some businesses with me, some buildings with me. We're going to be doing an investment group on some real estates. I own some property in there, and then we build up from there. So we definitely want to be able to connect with as many people. And for those who are serious, if you don't know how to get into real estate investing and you want to start it small, probably look into something like our investment group. That way you can put a minimum amount of money in and see how it works and then start it off. The good thing about it is we can build. So not too many women businesses building. So at the end of the day, we buy the building. Well, guess who's doing my company is going to be rehabbing it. So, you know, the biggest fallacy or problems that most investors have is that they got the money to buy the building, but they can't find a GC to do the work. Or they find the GC and the GC gets them. Yeah. Right? So I ain't getting myself. I'm gonna get nothing on myself. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna put us in a position that we're in a better spot. So that is something that I aspire to do over the next 12 months, is to get that investment group, men and women. It's not just, but I really would love to have one that just focuses on maybe 5 or 6 women that want to move and be progressive. So just make sure you got enough things in your toolkit, you know? You got to have a lot of things in your toolkit. You can't just be hanging your hat in your life on one thing. You just can't, because look at what happened. You know, you had people who were being in companies for 30 years, and when COVID hit, it took that company out, and now they're lost. And people don't know how to pivot. And if you don't know the definition of pivot, you need to look that up today, because you're going to learn how to shift. You got to learn. And that's pivot in life. You pivot with a breakup. You pivot with a divorce. You pivot with heartache or loss and tragedy. You got to learn how to pivot, and pivot with a smile. Pivot with positivity. Don't get salty. You're going to run around people salty all your life. If somebody is salty, just say, I'm going to pray for you and keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Twyla, I want to say thank you. You said something earlier. We're going to have to leave because we're over time. Sorry, no calls today, guys. But first, I want to make sure I got this out the way now. You got to say it right now in front of my audience. You're going to come back on my show in the fall when I have women.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Anytime you call.
Okay. All right. Second thing is you said something that I thought was powerful that I think women need to take in, and even men too. I need to do this. That downtime, that meditation in the morning or whenever you decide to do that. I had a young lady on my show. I know you probably know her, Stormy Wellington.
Oh, yeah, I know Stormy.
Stormy was on my show. She's a friend of mine. And she took a whole 6 months. You know, she took a hiatus for 6 months and went to an island, and they showed her how to do this meditation to an nth degree. And every morning now she's doing meditation with thousands of people across the country. And when you said that, it's like, wow. And I think men need it. There's no question. I definitely need it.
Absolutely.
But with women, for some reason, they find a resting place in there. They find something there that men, I don't think, garner, because we're not as deep as women. I'm just going to just that. We're just not.
You don't know how to release and clear your mind.
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're just not. And I thought that was powerful. So I want to end on that note. I want to say thank you so much. I want you to impart something that you think might bless somebody in your closing today, that might bless individuals who are starting a business or persons in the middle of a pandemic. Like Lisa opened her business in the middle of right before the pandemic, and she's struggling with the consignment shop, and she's struggling, and she's getting better. Things are getting better. Give a word to someone like that.
I think the biggest word that you can to come away with this is patience and positivity. Here's the thing: it's two: patience, positivity, and a plan. You need the 3 P's. 3 P's. Patience, positivity, and a plan. Okay, you need to have the patience to work the plan. And you got to stay positive through the plan. And without that, if you're not positive and you're not got that patience, and if you have no clue where you want to go, you can't get there, guys. You got to have that plan. So patience, positivity, and a plan is going to be your best entire blessing. And that's going to be for not just that business, but your life. Yeah. Your life. You need that. Disconnect tonight, meditate. Take it down, turn everything off, sit in a quiet, dark room, get you some white noise. This is the best meditation. If you have nothing else, download the app White Noise. Put it on white or pink, turn down every light, and just sit and start releasing your thoughts and your mind. And you'll come up with a plan that is positive and that's something that you can take and be patient about. It's not going to come overnight, but when it comes, God rains that blessing on you. Be prepared for the rain. Be prepared for the rain.
Be prepared for the rain. We're going to leave it right there. Once again, this is Strength, Courage, and Wisdom every Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We got a commitment for Twyla to come back in October when it's Women's Month.
Absolutely.
I got some powerful women now with Twyla on the panel. I don't know what we're going to do. Lord have mercy. It's going to be powerful, powerful, powerful. I want to again say thank you for your time. I know time is money to you, but the same token that you're all about positivity and motivating people. And I really, really appreciate you taking this time. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Twyla.
God bless you guys.
Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Stay on with me right quick. Hey, Marcus. Hi. Yo, Shanda, how'd you love that? Lisa, oh man, everybody's my mother's going bananas.
With a rich plan, strength, courage, and wisdom. Strength, courage, and wisdom. With a rich plan, strength, courage, and wisdom. With a rich plan, strength, courage, and wisdom. With a rich plan.
Hey y'all, it's your boy Rick McLaren, as you know it. Strength, Courage, and Wisdom every Wednesday. We are producing this show. We are on Facebook Live. We are on Mix Station Radio, Mix Station Live app, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts, all under Mix Station Radio. Listen, guys, before we're just Facebook Live, but you heard all the other stations that we're on. We need you all to tune in.